everyone. Welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm Lauren Coleman here with Monique Robinson and Chad Silber. We hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday.
And we hope that you are staying dry out there. Is going to be rain sticking around for a while?
Yeah, we're going to be talking about rain for the next day.
Ooh.
All right, there you go. There's your tease. We'll get an update from Monique in just a bit. We're also going to be talking this half hour about Chick-fil-A. It landed at the bottom of a fast food list.
Really? The Chick-fil-A?
The meanest.
Bottom.
Were they the meanest?
Right, no, the meanest. Yeah, the meanest list. Yeah, they would be at the bottom. But you're not going to believe this. I think it's wild. But so we're going to be talking about that coming up in this next half hour.
Looking forward to that chat. But first, we want to get into some of your top headlines. First up, we're talking about the future of the ACC headquarters. Last month, the organization decided to leave Greensboro and relocate to Charlotte.
Today, we spoke to Commissioner Jim Phillips, who says Greensboro will not be forgotten. WFMY News 2's Amanda Ferguson has new information this afternoon.
During ACC Men's Basketball Media Day today, Commissioner Jim Phillips talked about the conference moving from Greensboro to Charlotte. His main takeaway, the history here with the ACC won't stop. It's clear the ACC has meant so much to Greensboro, and Greensboro has meant so much to it. For nearly 70 years, the conference headquarters has lived here, and in that time, we've had a lot of championship play. This year, the ACC Men's Tournament returns to the Coliseum.
We want to continue to go back to Greensboro. Women's basketball, men's basketball, we've played golf championships there. They have the nicest natatorium, I think, in the country. So this isn't going to be, everybody picks up and nobody goes back to Greensboro. The day-to-day operation will be in a different city. 50 employees will be in a different city. But the roots remain there, the affection remains there.
He also addresses the move to move the conference. It took over a year to make that call, but Phillips says it was important to make the right one.
I just have a bad taste in my mouth, and I don't think that will ever change, because it really seemed as though, and I've seen a lot of this on Facebook too, that as soon as Jim Phillips got here, he had all intentions of moving it out of Greensboro. And I have just this sour taste in my mouth, and it won't ever go away.
It's unfortunate because I liked it being here, and I think our city likes it too. But I mean, they said they're moving it because of the modern day. There's now 15 teams. At first, there were only 7 teams in the ACC when it first originated nearly 70 years ago. Now we've got 15, and it just seems like the right move for them.
But the good news is they are keeping a lot of the roots here, having the tournament. So from a business perspective or economic perspective, the different businesses here and hotels will still be able to benefit.
Yeah,
so we're not losing everything.
I want that to remain here because that's so important. I mean, these teams come to this place all the time, and it's very special to us.
Yeah. One thing I do like about it staying in North Carolina is that regionally, I mean, you look at a map of all the ACC teams, and it's kind of smack dab in the middle, right? I mean, we were talking about Orlando being a city that they were considering, and that just kind of would have been out of place.
That would not make any sense.
All right.
All right.
There you have it. Monique.
Well, I mentioned earlier that we'll be talking about rain for another day, not just today. You can see our radar looping through, showing you the light rain that's continuing now. We did have some heavier downpours over the past hour. Now, when I widen this view, I know you see some more rain being picked up in areas to the south of us. Right around the Atlanta area, there's some heavier downpours there with a bit of lightning with the storms that are leading it as they cross into South Carolina. Even when we look across Tennessee, crossing out of Arkansas, there's some more rainfall here. All of this storm activity is pushing towards the east, and that's what's going to bring us additional rain as we talk about tonight and even tomorrow. So we're getting a break from the rain right now, but it will continue. This is the first round of storms that are moving through the Georgia area and then going to cross over into South Carolina. They're going to push in from the south. This is all with a warm front lifting across the southeast. Now, when I jump on over to this line that's stretching across Tennessee, this is a cold front, and this cold front is also moving east. At the end of the day, the thing that you need to know is going to keep raining. So even though it is dry right now, we are expecting for more rain and more storms to move through for the latter part of your Wednesday, and then continuing on and off throughout the day on Thursday, all due to these active storms that are well to the west of us now. This is a time lapse starting around noon in Winston-Salem, and you saw those showers moving through between around 1 and 2 p.m. Then the skies began to break, and then you got to see a little bit of peaks of sunshine as we end out and go into this 4 p.m. hour. So rainfall totals across the area have not been significant, and even as we move through tonight, I'm not expecting significant amounts of rainfall with the rain that is moving through. All of these rainfall totals range less than a half of inch. Half of inch is about the largest I've seen, just north of Winston-Salem. Other than that, the rainfall total is nearing more of a quarter of an inch of rain. This is going to be the dry spell, and then we get more rain and storms late tonight. So overnight, while you are asleep, you may be awakened to rumbles of thunder, but then when we go throughout the day on Thursday, we could get more stray showers and storms that move throughout the day on Thursday. This will be an ongoing conversation talking about needing the umbrella through the end of your Thursday. After that, for the weekend, the forecast is shaping up to be drier, and I know a lot of folks looking forward to the weekend are happy to hear that. I'll talk more about it in just a bit.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. The city of Greensboro is ramping up efforts to improve community safety. It recently launched a new office aimed at bringing together police, locals, and city leaders.
This idea has been something that we have been thinking about for a long time. We've been very interested in alternative responses to calls for service, to 911, and so it's given us an opportunity to look at what other cities are doing across the country in terms of like our co-responder units and opioid response units, really finding a way to connect community partners in with our public safety entities.
The office has 4 main sections: crime, mental health, criminal justice, education, and finding the causes of violence. Most of the work in these areas has already begun, while others will start next year.
We got an update today on that new gunshot detection technology now being used in Winston-Salem. Sounds like it's already working.
There's members in the community that live in the area, and again, I'm only referring to the 3 square mile coverage area where we have the technology. But the members there are now seeing the police respond more, are seeing them be present when these incidents occur. They know that they're coming, they know that there's going to be help, and it also develops a rapport between our officers and the citizens in that area because they're developing a relationship, talking about the crime, and getting to know each other.
ShotSpotter uses data to help law enforcement pinpoint places where guns are fired. This way, police don't have to rely solely on 911 calls. Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools is building a new fence at Woodward Elementary after a scary incident last week. You'll remember when a 7-year-old boy with special needs wandered away from the school and got into a nearby creek. The district says the fence will surround most of the school. Leaders say they plan to retrain staff on safety policies.
The High Point Emperor of acceptable candy has spoken. Candy corn is now the official candy of the city and is no longer banned. They prohibited the Halloween treat back in 2020 or 2018 because, quote, no one liked them anyways. Since then, the Candy Emperor changed their mind and says candy corn is king. Now, we did try to speak to them in person today, but instead had to settle for a message delivered by one of their constituents.
It's been given to me. It says, "To whom it may concern, the Emperor of acceptable candy will not and cannot be revealed, for it is of the utmost importance that acceptable candy be properly examined and confirmed without any interference. As the great corn kid Tariq once said, it's corn. I mean, look at this thing. I cannot imagine a more beautiful thing."
What a controversial opinion, right?
I know.
I
love candy corn. I don't really know why people hate on it. I always look forward to after Halloween when it's like 50 cents a bag.
Right.
But I love candy corn.
You should write on your Facebook, why don't you like candy corn?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because you will get 100 comments, all sorts of things, from the flavor, the texture, are we just eating candles or wax?
The texture is the best part. I mean, I like it. What about you?
I like it, but I want to know, how did they verify that it's official candy of High Point? Did they say those people don't have teeth because their dentistry work is no longer good? When you are eating candy corn, you're messing up your teeth.
Yeah. How did they?
I have no idea what you just said.
Because if you are eating candy corn a lot, if you're eating candy corn extensively, that's not good for your teeth.
So why is it the official
Yeah.
candy corn? I don't know. I will say this, when I was reading this in the newsroom, remember how confused I was? I said,
Yes.
wait, is this real? Was it actually banned?
I think that you just have to take it as a joke.
Okay.
It's a joke.
So what's the official candy of Greensboro?
We will have to contact Mayor Nancy Vaughn for that. But this is
That'll be the
all a
follow-up
joke.
story.
I like candy corn with peanuts. Have you ever had that?
I have
Mixed
not, but
together?
I know you said
Ooh,
a
that
former
is-
coworker used to do that.
That's
You
the
loved
cheat
it.
code right there.
Like regular just peanuts?
Yep. Just peanuts, and you mix it into a bag. Actually learned it from Maddie Garner back in the day,
Yeah.
and it's just so good.
What would you say your favorite Halloween candy is? Mine is
just like-
Reese's Cups.
I just like chocolate all the time.
Just chocolate.
I like
yeah.
Reese's Cups, and I also like that Reese's tries to make shapes of things, and
Yeah.
it just turns out to be a blob.
Like a pumpkin or an egg.
yeah.
Well, the eggs are actually kind of cute, and sometimes they'll do an outline. You ever see during the Easter season, they'll maybe sometimes do shapes and stuff in the eggs? They try.
They try. They need to try harder. Jalen, what do you think?
I'm not a big candy guy myself. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but what I do love is GHO. And with GHO, with a little less than 2 weeks away, many of our local small businesses are preparing for their busiest season of the year. That's coming up at 4:30. Hey, Monique, I'm gonna be.
Wait, did he say something about shouting?
He said Monique.
Hey there, everybody. Facebook, you're probably wondering what happened with Jalen. Jalen, can you explain to us the big yell that just happened?
As we were sitting there discussing our favorite candies, I just found it very, very interesting. Monique's take on the candy corn and the teeth. I was lost and I was confused and I was trying to contain my laughter.
Candy corn, it gets stuck, like it literally is stuck in your
So
teeth.
you were saying they banned it because of the high dental bills that parents were going to receive.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We just didn't have time to get to the punchline. That's all.
It gets stuck in your teeth.
But really,
But all candy really gets stuck into your teeth.
Not all
like
candy.
Sugar Baby?
That's what I was thinking. to be
Sugar
honest.
babies get stuck
well,
in
and
your teeth.
Jalen, I'm surprised that you didn't throw Brad under the bus for this.
I really should have.
Oh.
Honestly, because
Is
why
he a
was my
con-
mic still on anyway?
Oh.
Yeah.
That is the question.
I must have missed the yell.
What do you mean? He was like, "Hey, Monique." That was awesome. Brad.
All right, I gotta go, y'all. I gotta finish it.
Okay, okay, he's got to go. All
Bye,
right, bye, Facebook.
Social media is in an uproar following a new study about the fastest drive-through. So data polled hundreds of customers to find out who ranks supreme. And the results, they're interesting. I mean, it shocked me.
Oh yeah, so the Chicken Champs, known for making it their pleasure, came in dead last. Taco Bell took first place.
When it comes to picking up a quick bite from the comfort of your car,
Hi, welcome. Taco Bell. How's your day going today?
Taco Bell may be the way to go. Just ask Roger Lawson.
It's usually quick though. It don't take that long. It depends.
The fast food chain, known for its tacos and chalupas, topped QSR Magazine's annual drive-through survey for speed of service, with an average wait time of just under 4 minutes. Dunkin' Donuts and KFC came in second and third, while Chick-fil-A was rated the slowest. Researchers say the chicken chain's popularity has customers waiting close to 6 minutes for a meal, with an average of almost 5 cars in its drive-through lanes.
The service, right now, I give it thumbs down.
The wait is often so long at this Chick-fil-A drive-thru in Union, New Jersey, it causes traffic backups and even led to a lawsuit.
Joshua Kettles ordered inside to avoid the estimated 30-minute wait.
The line is way too long. If I just go in, then you could just relax and not have to go through all people cutting you off.
And it's not an isolated situation. This Chick-fil-A drive-thru in Santa Barbara, California was almost designated a public nuisance due to customer vehicles blocking nearby driveways and sidewalks for years.
I've seen people go into Chick-fil-A in the exit, and I've also seen them park across the street in my lot.
What Chick-fil-A lacks in speed, it made up for in some other categories, tying Carl's Jr. for friendly service and customer satisfaction. In terms of getting the food right after saying, "May I take your order, please?" McDonald's and Arby's tied for the top spot.
Interesting. I have to say this. Every time I do go to Chick-fil-A, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, it is busy, but I just expect that. And I know that their customer service is good and the quality of the product is good, but I think they're pretty efficient. I think the system that they have in place works for them. I think you just know to leave a little earlier if you're going to go to Chick-fil-A.
I've never really had a long wait there. There's just a lot of people.
Yeah, because it's
That's the
popular.
problem.
So you're going to find, it's going to be some time, but it's not like 30 minutes or anything. And the line is moving. Now, if we weren't moving, I would be frustrated, but the fact that we're moving, it doesn't really bother me.
I feel like if you compare it, she interviewed someone who's in New Jersey. When I go back home, because we don't have as many Chick-fil-A's as they do around this area, people who want to go to Chick-fil-A, that line does end up getting to be like 30 minutes or more. Sometimes I know there is one in New Jersey that I went to, and we've had to wait a long time because we don't have one in the next town over. It's more of like, maybe on the other side of the state, or maybe only in the mall or something like that. So if you do want to go to Chick-fil-A and you're really craving for that, you will have to wait longer because there's no other one around.
Yeah, sometimes it's just worth the wait, though.
It's wild that one in California was almost declared a public nuisance.
Oh, bleeding into the street?
I've seen that. I mean, the drive-through lines anywhere, at any restaurant, are not equipped to handle 100 cars.
I remember when the whole Chick-fil-A versus Popeye's chicken sandwich thing happened. It was the reverse because everyone wanted to try that Popeye sandwich. Multiple Popeyes that I saw, the lines were bleeding into the street. And I'm just like, this is just getting kind of out of hand at this point, so.
We just gotta wait for the day when Chick-fil-A will deliver us food by drone, and then we won't have to go through the drive-through anymore.
Love it, and it'll be nice and steamy and still hot.
Hopefully.
Well, if you haven't checked our 4 to 5 live stream, you're missing out. We're having a lot of fun over there. We talk about things we don't discuss on the news, and we even give you some behind-the-scene looks. We even have an exclusive Facebook page. It's called the 4 to 5 Club. You're taking a look at it here. Just search for it on Facebook and click join group, and we'll let you in. We'll be right back.
A much different midweek as compared to how we started this week. We had plenty of sunshine on Monday, and now as we look all across the triad, we are seeing those clouds, and that's going to continue for tonight. The temperatures are different, all depending on areas that have seen rain and areas that have not. Siler City is at 71, and even when we look further south, we're seeing upper 70s, Southern Pines at 77. But as we look towards Winston-Salem, they're sitting at 64, a nearly 13-degree difference. And this is all because of the showers that have moved through over the past couple of hours. Clouds stick with us for the next hour. And then as we go into tonight, that's when we get the next arrival time for more showers and the possibility of storms. So again, this is around 8 p.m. We start to see some stray showers and storms push in, and then late in the night after 11 p.m., that's when the heavier downpours move through, or expected to. And that continues through your 3 a.m. hour, and even around 4 a.m. and then by 6 a.m. it looks as though most of the heavy downpours have now shifted to the east of us. But again, this is going to be an ongoing event for our sleepy time. When you're heading down to bed, that's when the weather is starting to act a little bit more rambunctious outside. We'll start to hear the rumbles of the thunder, the clashing of the lightning. That's when that activity is expected overnight, when we're most likely going to be laying down for bed. Continuing through your Thursday, clouds are with us, and then we do get a chance for some more stray showers, possibly throughout the afternoon. Behind that, though, that's when we'll get the drier time. The clouds move out, and the sun is back again for your Friday. Friday being the coolest of the weekend. Then after that, we're warming back up very quickly before another cool down next week.
Voting for our Friday Football Fever game of the week ends very soon. Just look for this story at the top of our website. There are 5 games to choose from, and you can vote as many times as you'd like. Someone told us they voted hundreds of times last week. The poll closes in 40 minutes at 5 o'clock. We'll be right back. Blake Shelton, the longest tenured coach on The Voice, is calling it quits. The country music star revealed the next season will be his last. In a statement he wrote, "I've been wrestling with this for a while and I've decided it's time for me to step away from The Voice. This show," sorry, there should have been a period in there. "This show has changed my life in every way for the better, and it will always feel like home to me." Shelton is actually the show's most successful coach. He's brought 31 singers to the finale and helped 8 of them become winners.
Liked his performance on there. But this news got a lot of us talking about some of our favorite competition and game shows on television. So I asked you on my Facebook page, what TV game show would you like to compete in? Derek Cleveland says Family Feud or America Says. Lisa Phillips, Family Feud and The Amazing Race. Bobby Odom says Wheel of Fortune. Franny Weatherby, Great British Baking Show for sure. And then Linda Patterson said Chain Reaction or Pyramid. There was a lot of people who also said Deal or No Deal and The Price is Right. Got a lot of those too.
I would want to be on The Price is Right.
Okay.
Or Wheel of Fortune. I'm pretty darn good at Wheel of Fortune.
What about you?
Family Feud all
Yep.
day. We've got a good one for you today, folks. We have the Coleman family against the Silver family.
Good answer, good answer, good answer.
Good, and even if they're terrible answers, right? Like you like, what's your favorite fruit? And you could say that can, and people would be like, good answer.
Awkward
good
look,
answer.
but good,
Yep,
answer.
good answer.
So I interviewed a family once that was on the show, and I asked about that. I said, so why do you all say good answer when it's clearly not a good answer?
Right.
When they're supposed to do that, they said it's like a part of their training or the things that they're supposed to say. But I would have to say Family Feud as well. I like playing along with the TV, and I think Steve Harvey just does such a great job hosting that show. He's funny. He plays with the families. Sometimes he makes it about him. It's just it's a good time.
Well, people make it about them. They reference his bald head or his suits or anything like that.
And I mean, there are so many innuendos on that show.
Yes.
I mean, like, some of the questions, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, everybody is going to that dirty spot in their mind when you ask a question like that.
And I'm just surprised by some of the answers that come out of people's mouths.
Yes.
I'm like, now why would that be up there?
And with your mama standing right next
Yes,
to you.
yes.
And Steve will be looking at them like, did you just hear that?
I wonder if they could do like a family news feud or something like that. We could go on as a news family or something.
Against the competition.
Oh, that could be a fundraiser.
Okay, we'll reach out to them.
Something. What do y'all think? Let us
Steve,
know.
do you hear us?
Yes, Steve, you hear us?
We'll be
Host
right
our
back.
show.
Hey, Kayana, I'm gonna need you to do something. Just give me like 2 more minutes, if you can. Look, right. All right, that'd be perfect. Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Lauren Coleman here with Monique Robinson and Chad Silber. We're having a lot of fun on the 4 to 5 today.
Yes, we are. We're staying inside because it's dry in here compared to outside. Coming up this half hour, we're going to be talking about the leaves changing. You might have noticed that they seem to be changing earlier this year than they have in the past. Yes. So Monique is going to use her meteorological knowledge to explain why.
Use that word, meteorological.
Meteorological. That makes my mouth do all these crazy things. But first, we got to get a check of the forecast.
Yes, we're keeping our eye to the sky all evening long, and even as we continue through the day tomorrow. This is the latest look at our radar as it loops through across the central Piedmont. You're going to see some places are seeing rain now and some places are not. I'm going to zoom in really tight to Forsyth County, where there's this heavy downpour just north of downtown Winston-Salem, just south of King. You can see it's pushing off to the north and east. Now, when I widen this view, it's really important whenever we have active days like this to keep an eye on what's coming next. And you can see down to the south where there's some lightning strikes crossing into South Carolina, with this band of heavy downpours extending even further back into Georgia. There's a severe thunderstorm warning with that. This is all moving towards the north and east, heading towards North Carolina, but that's not the only spot to watch. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit tighter. This is that severe thunderstorm warning box well down to the south. This is the heavy downpours. They're pushing in closer and closer into South Carolina. Drawing our eyes over onto Tennessee, another hot spot for active weather, where we're seeing a line of storms, and you can actually kind of draw a line with it, extending as far south as Tennessee, right around Memphis, even to further north into Kentucky. This is a cold front. Leading the cold front are some downpours, some storms. We're even seeing some severe thunderstorm warning boxes with this line. This line is also making its way closer to the Carolinas. So we have two clusters of storms that are approaching our area. Now, what we saw earlier today, some heavy downpours, that was just the early start to the activity we will be seeing for the next several hours. This is a time lapse at Winston-Salem, where you see the clouds moving in, then we had the rain between the 2 and 3 p.m. hour. Then things cleared up, and then there's some more rain moving in now into this picture, splitting this camera view with rainfall on one side and clear skies on the other. And this is right now, right around 4:30. The rainfall totals haven't been significant though, and I'm not expecting for significant rainfall totals over the next several hours. Right around a ½ inch of rain just north of Winston-Salem, and then less than that when we look in other areas. So rain chances increase for overnight. So your wee hours of your Thursday morning when you are asleep, you may be awakened to some loud thunder.
Let's kick off your top headlines with the countdown to the greatest homecoming on earth. Regardless of where your loyalties lie, we can't deny the impact North Carolina A&T has when it comes to homecoming celebrations.
Yet aside from the attracting lots of fun and pride to the city, homecoming brings in dollars too. WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey talked to small businesses thrilled to see the celebration back in full swing.
Every year, thousands of people come from all over the country to celebrate the greatest homecoming on earth. And when people arrive, so does the money. Many of our local small businesses are excited that this year's festivities should be back to normal.
Ron Harrison has been a barber for over 15 years.
Businesses around Greensboro are going to benefit from that. I'm kind of excited. I'm real excited.
But this year will be his first GO at work. The Gate City Barbershop is just a few feet from the North Carolina A&T campus.
My co-workers have told me that it is going to be a busy week.
Just a few seats down from Harrison stands a man that's been cutting hair at this shop for over 40 years, and he can't wait to see the crowds of people once again.
Me, money's good, but the people, you like to be with the people. Be with your friends that you never seen in a long time, and you will see them because they will be here.
And over at the Greek Teak and Legacy shop near State Street, owner Francis Jackson says the return of GHO is just the boost her business needs.
As an owner of a business that does have a seasonal impact, this is like Christmas for me. So I am super excited about activities being closer to normal, and also just even in my travels this summer, people are just ready to be out.
Now, there are a lot of events planned around the city for GHO. However, keep in mind, there are only a few that are actually sanctioned by the university. Now, some of those are the Greek Step Show, the Aggie Alumni Concert with special guest R&B singer Jeffrey Osborne. Now, for the young folks, there's Lil Baby and others coming to the Coliseum, and rounding out the Wild Week, the gospel concert at the end of the weekend on Sunday. Tickets are on sale for all of those events, but you have to act fast because they're expected to sell out.
I'm glad that you mentioned the part about the sanctioned events because, I mean, every year pre-pandemic, there were parties all over the place.
Absolutely, man. And the thing about GHO, it's more like, not like a weekend, it's more like a
full week.
It's like a Sunday to Sunday thing.
Right.
And so, especially for the students, the first half of the week is for the students and where they have a blast, do whatever they do off campus. You know, there's the events during the school week, but then once the weekend comes around, it's time to kick all the youngins out.
I'm definitely excited for this year. So my sister's an Aggie alum, and I went last year with her and some of her friends, but it was on a smallish scale because of all the COVID restrictions. And I went to the tailgating. They were like, Lauren, this isn't even.
This is not it.
This doesn't even touch what we saw
And it was still a
when
good
we were in
turnout
school.
last year.
And it was a great turnout, but I'm definitely excited to experience it as an adult. I did go in high school. My sister was in the parade and things of that nature, but I'm excited for this year.
I love getting to see the food trucks, and on the back they'll tag proud Aggie alum. I love getting to see that and try the food. But I came here in 2018 when I was in Wilmington, and I said, oh wow, Greensboro, never been here before. And now look at me back again. But I'm excited for the full-on experience like it was in 2018.
What is the experience like being a student versus being an alum?
All right, so I've had both experiences. Now,
Right.
2019, that was my first alumni homecoming. It was a little bit different. I had to work a lot of the week, so I wasn't able to do the full, get engaged in the full week with a lot of my friends that were still in school. But that's the main difference. When you're in school, it's from Sunday to Sunday, and your body's gonna tell you by about Thursday if you're gonna make it to Sunday.
Well, it's going to be a great time. I love seeing all the people who've been there 40 years, 60 years, and
That's
they
the
never
best
miss
part.
one. Yeah.
That is the
I
best
love
part.
seeing just all the African Americans embracing one large space. Very rarely do we ever get in rooms where we have that many people to look beside that are successful. You see all these alumni who are accomplishing great things, and you look at them like, wow, it's inspiring.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful place, it's a beautiful thing.
Right, well, we'll definitely be keeping an eye on all of those great events that are coming up. But first, we want to get to your 4 to 5 roundup with some of your headlines. We've got new drone video of the aftermath of a massive fire in Alamance County. The old Colt weaving plant building in Graham caught fire last night. Firefighters are still putting out hotspots right now. They say the old textile mill was poorly maintained and at risk of collapsing. Thankfully, no one was hurt. The cause of this fire is still under investigation.
Guilford County Schools is preparing for another round of parent town halls. The next one is tomorrow at 5:30 at Andrews High School. Anyone is welcome. The meetings are part of Superintendent Dr. Whitney Oakley's Better Together initiative. So far, she's met with more than 200 people. The Guilford County Animal Shelter is starting a new program in the hopes of euthanizing fewer animals. The Stray to Foster program will allow volunteers to keep cats or dogs for 72 hours after they've been brought into the shelter, giving the shelter some relief from capacity issues.
Our main goal here is to avoid euthanasia at all costs. We don't want to get to a situation where we're having to make euthanasia decisions based on space.
The shelter will even give volunteers beds and food for the animals they foster. The shelter is also expanding its adoption hours. It'll now be open 6 days a week, including Mondays from noon to 4 and Saturdays from 1 to 6. They're open every day except Tuesday. You don't need me to tell you the importance of a North Carolina staple that puts us on the map. 3 letters here, BBQ. It's a dish we don't mess around with. Right now, the High Point Museum has an exhibit called The Story of Barbecue in North Carolina. Organizers say it's a must-see for all the Q lovers out there.
We have had a really good reaction so far. I think both just because it creates a debate, between East versus West, and even talking about the larger history of barbecue, that it has been around for a lot longer than you realize, and it is something historically that has gone through, it's a part of so many different cultures that people have really enjoyed getting to learn a little bit more about it.
And no surprise here, part of the museum highlights triad barbecue institutions, and some of the historical facts might surprise you.
We want them to have a greater appreciation of the history of barbecue here in North Carolina. It's really unique, back to the fact that there were pirates that were, barbecuing on the beaches of, the Carolinas. Like that's a cool legacy to have.
Speaking of barbecue, we asked you on Facebook about your favorite way to eat barbecue and your favorite place. So here's what y'all had to say. Terry Cummings, heart Lexington style with Texas Pete and skins at Speedy Barbecue in Lexington, North Carolina. That's my favorite. And then Dylan Brooks says sliced brisket with potato salad and coleslaw on the side, Texas or St. Louis style. And then we have Mitzi Starrett. She said barbecue tray with hush puppies, Lexington style, nothing better. Patricia Collins, chopped barbecue plate, hush puppies and slaw, Stamey's barbecue, our favorite. And then Mike was saying southern sweet and smoky with bun or hands it has to include baked beans, mac and cheese, and coleslaw. Did I read that correctly?
Yeah, there was a missing punctuation.
Okay.
So we both fell for that today. I love all kinds. So it doesn't have to be in a bun. It doesn't have to be, in a mound like you get from Cookout. I mean, I just really like it from most places. I am a Western North Carolina barbecue lover. I do love Lexington as well. I don't really go for like East Carolina barbecue.
Okay, so you're pretty specific on what you like and don't like. I just like barbecue. I don't really have a particular style. I lived in different places and tried the different things, but my favorite is barbecue chicken, and I like ribs. I like it when it slides right off the bone.
Yeah.
My dad actually makes some great barbecue. When I went home back in July, he made ribs, and I was able to take some back with me, and I said, this is so good.
That's good. I also have to have the hush puppies.
Yes.
Either dipped in ketchup, but I also like how some place like Mac's Speed Shop do like a butter or like a cinnamon butter.
Oh,
but I gotta have the hush puppies.
I have had that. I like the hush puppies, and then I like it when they have little pieces of corn inside of it too.
Oh, yep.
And then baked beans. That's my favorite side. Gotta have the baked beans.
Here
Got
we
to.
are talking about food again.
Always. It would not be the 4 to 5
right.
if we didn't bring up food at least once.
And we're not done with it yet. The Lexington Barbecue Festival is quickly approaching. It's next Saturday in Uptown Lexington.
If you make it out, be sure and say hello to WFMY News 2 meteorologists Eric Chilton and Christian Morgan. They're hosting and giving away some special News 2 merchandise that you don't want to miss out on. So make sure that you mark your calendar next Saturday. Bring your appetite, and we'll see you there.
The U.S. Supreme Court is considering a case that could change the way images are used in art.
It involves art legend Andy Warhol and musical genius Prince. A photographer claims the late Warhol violated the law when he made silk screens of the artist. You can see it behind us.
And lawyers for the Warhol Foundation saying not allowing artists to alter art limits freedom of expression.
They're among Andy Warhol's most iconic portraits, the silkscreen images of Prince. When the musician died in 2016, Vanity Fair put one of them on its cover. The image was based on a 1981 photograph by Lynn Goldsmith. She sued Warhol's foundation, claiming copyright infringement.
What is the reason or justification to take another's copyrighted work? The reason can't be to avoid paying the customary price.
The foundation argues the use of Goldsmith's photo was legal because Warhol's changes to it were transformative, a point Justice Samuel Alito said can lead to a lot of dispute.
If you called Andy Warhol as a witness, what would he say was the purpose of his, the message or meaning of his
I wish I could answer that question. He's not with us, as you know, Your Honor.
I know.
A district court ruled in 2019 in favor of Warhol, saying the works were protected from copyright claims because they convey a different meaning from the original. But an appeals court reversed that decision, saying judges aren't art critics.
If the Supreme Court agrees, law professor Paul Shinall says it could throw a chill over the art world.
And what's at risk here is the ability to take a pre-existing work, especially if it's a visual work, and build upon it.
The justices did find some lighter moments when Clarence Thomas revealed his musical tastes.
Let's say that I'm both a Prince fan, which I was in the 80s, and
No longer.
But it's serious business. If it loses its case, the Warhol Foundation could owe Goldsmith millions in fees and royalties.
Interesting.
I'm not going to get into the technicalities if I believe he, copied it or not, but I think this just rides a fine line because I think so many artists, they get inspired by other people. Think about a lot of the movies that we have. They're based off of plays or they're based off of books. And if you cross that line, it's like, well, is that not going to be allowed in the future either,
Right, and the way that I think of it is from the music perspective. So, you hear a lot of songs that are inspired by a different song, and you can hear like a beat or something in that song that is taken from a different song. I've always wondered whether those artists are required to pay for that.
Yes,
the sampling of it.
It gets weird because then you see artists coming out like, nobody asked me if they could use this lyric or this beat. So that's why I said it gets confusing, but I feel like, it plays into a lot of different art genres.
Yeah, leave it to the courts.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm not going to get into the technicalities.
We'll let you know what they decide. We'll be right back.
Red, yellow, orange, and green. You see it all driving around the Triad. And if you remember from last year, it was looking more like this, just green. But now, as you drive around the Triad, you're seeing more beautiful images, including those reds and orange hues and yellow all across the central Piedmont and beyond. Even up in the mountains, you're seeing the red really potent in those sky views. And then even when we look towards the Blue Ridge Vacations, they tweeted this beautiful video riding through the Ridge Parkway. Look at the oasis of colors. Now, Mark Boast with North Carolina Forest Service says the unseasonably cool days and shorter daylight hours are triggers for leaves to change color. But he says it all depends on the tree species.
Yellow poplar is one that turns yellow earlier than most other trees do, and that's one that's starting to change. And your maples can change, and different species of maples can go from yellow to red to really brilliant orange, and some of them go straight to red, and that's their color change.
Rain can also be a factor. Luckily, we've had enough thanks to the remnants of Hurricane Ian earlier this month. So the next question is, will the leaves now fall sooner?
You very well could, and we have seen that before, especially if you get a really big wind event towards the middle of the typical color pattern and blows a lot of the leaves off the trees.
So it looks pretty outside, but my big concern was just like, well, now will they be bare more quickly? And so he was just like, well, if we have a strong storm that has strong enough winds, then they could, because now they're weaker, but we'll just have to see.
So it can look like winter before winter even gets here.
Yeah.
I do love, I was just telling you that I love when the leaves change, but I'm always very sad about it too, because I know what's coming, those ugly trees and the cold winter.
And the piles of leaves on the side of the road.
And then it's just freezing, the days are shorter, winter.
We'll just take it one day at a time,
I miss
right?
summer.
One step at a time.
We'll be right back.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Graham's fire chief told me that they have been wanting to inspect the old mill for a while now, but
University just sent out. I'm doing well. How about you? How did you get?
Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lauren wins the mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hey, my IP has been really staticky. Can you test it for me one more time? Okay, much better, thank you.
Mic check, mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Check, 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 check.
Hello, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mic check, mic check.
One of the worst feelings in the world is being overwhelmed. The fear of doing something makes you wonder if you're good enough, strong enough, smart enough. It makes you doubt yourself. To control that terrible feeling, I decided a while back to tackle something overwhelming every 4 months. As a result, I've learned how to throw pottery, lift weights properly at the gym, even how to sew my own drapes. This weekend, I added another item to the list. I took some unused closets in our bedroom and turned them into built-in bookshelves. You know, for 2 years, I dreaded this project, worried I might mess it up, causing me to waste a whole lot of money and time. I doubted my ability. Here's how I stopped doing that. I started watching videos online of people who built their own shelves, one after another after another. Sure, I was learning how to do the project, but I was also teaching myself that it's possible. Other people have done it. That means with enough effort, I can figure out how to do it too. This works for bigger, scarier tasks also. We're talking paying off debt, losing weight, even landing your dream job. All things I've learned how to do because I knew it was possible when other people did them. In the years that I've been on this journey, I have learned that being overwhelmed doesn't mean you're not enough. It just means you haven't seen what's possible yet. Once you do, you might just show someone else what's possible too. That's my 2 cents. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now.
An orange glow over Graham last night after an old textile mill caught on fire. In the light of day, the full extent of the fire's destruction, it's clear.
Yeah, firefighters from multiple agencies responded to this blaze. They say the building had been abandoned for years, but it was up for sale. And today there's new concerns about how the fire started and what's being done to prevent